Hi, I'm Marc Stevens, author of Government Indicted and Adventures in Legal Land, host the radio show The No State Project. It's live most Saturdays from 4 to 7 Eastern Standard Time on a Liberty Radio network. And, of course, the website markstevens.net. And what I want to talk about, this is a new addition to the Call of Shame. And this is with the an agent with the Internal Revenue Service. And it's only 3.5 minutes long. It's a short one, but it's instructive because there's a couple. And what I want to discuss here is just two of their common tactics that they use. They're obviously in bad faith. They're lying, and it's to divert attention. Most of what they're doing is to divert your attention away from their lack of evidence. And you have to keep in mind that the Internal Revenue Service is a terrorist organization, part of a larger terrorist organization called the United States government. And I'm not saying that this particular agent is definitely a psychopath, but he certainly exhibits the behavior. And the fact that he works for a terrorist organization that forces people to pay under threat of jail, it would lead one to believe that they're psychopathic in nature. At least they're going to display some of these common features of or character flaws that are associated with the aggressive narcissist or the psychopath. So what the agent does, he starts off calling Mark a taxpayer. We had already previously talked about that. This is classic projection. It's called a defense mechanism narcissist, which all psychopaths are narcissists or have that personality trait. That narcissists used that involves condemning others for their own emotions, traits, reactions, and behaviors. A narcissist projects without being provoked. So what happens is all I did was call the agent out on his false accusation that we had just spoke about, which he agreed he was not going to refer to him as a taxpayer. But he does it anyway. All I do is call him out on that. So you did it again. And he accuses me of getting upset, which, of course, we have an objective record to calls at the end of this part of the video, and you can listen to yourself. I was not getting upset, and I tell him I'm not getting upset. What's nice, though, is he actually agrees that calling someone a taxpayer is a reflex. There's no thought involved. There's no evidence. There's no objective investigation into the situation. Let's look at the facts. No, it's a reflex. That's directly from an IRS agent, and who better to know, right? So calling someone a taxpayer, referring to them as a taxpayer, is a reflexive action. I guess you could say that the same thing goes for me, that when I think of an IRS agent, that that's a terrorist organization, and, of course, they are more than likely psychopaths. But the evidence is there to support it, though. Again, this is the projection is just lying, and what it's doing is getting the attention away from the predator, the terrorist agent, and putting it on me, the innocent one, and it is a way to discredit me so that he does not have to deal honestly with me, and he has an excuse not to do that. He just has to tell if it escalates, he could tell his supervisor, he could tell a judge, look, Marc Stevens just got upset, and I don't have to deal with someone who's so upset. And oh yeah, we understand. You're a wonderful IRS agent. You're a local hometown hero. You force people to give us money, and you shouldn't have to. No. So, and that's what it does. It discredits us. So call them on it. Don't get upset. Don't take the bait. Just calmly let them know, excuse me, I don't know who you're talking to, but I'm not getting upset. If anyone's getting upset, you are. Why don't you calm down? Okay. So that's tactic number one. The other tactic that you will notice in this is an extremely common one. Anytime you back one of these agents into a corner, and all I'm doing is asking the agent, yes or no, can you confirm that there's evidence supporting your argument that the Constitution and Code apply to Mark and that the IRS has any jurisdiction at all. Now, first he bobs and weaves and he avoids, and he says it's not within his purview. Imagine that. It's not within his purview to be able to determine whether there's evidence of jurisdiction over the people he's actively attacking. Think about that. So I press him on this because the whole time he's insisting that Mark is a taxpayer with taxable income. So the second time I ask him, he does give me a straightforward answer. He says no, but it's not within my purview. So then, but again, insisting that he's a taxpayer with taxable income. So all I do is bring up the contradiction. How can you How could you not be able to determine whether the Constitution and Code apply to someone, but then go ahead and do that anyway and insist that he's a taxpayer with taxable income? And bam, that's when he hits me with this ridiculous nonsense that they like to do so much, these psychopaths. He puts the cart before the horse and then wants to ignore. He wants to ignore the horse. He just wants to insist that the Constitution and Code, that's not something that he can do, but he's going to still insist that it applies, and he's going to, for a way out of this difficult situation that he has put himself in, he is going to lie and say, I'm not going to debate with you. Classic. That's why I always go back and quote Inigo Montoya. There's that word again, debate. I don't think it means what you think it does. All they're doing is lying. You got them trapped. They contradicted themselves. They want to insist the Constitution Code apply to you, but they can't produce the evidence. Anyone listening to the call will realize the agent himself said that's not within his purview. He can't do that. Well, here's the logical thing, though. The logical problem you have at if it's not within your purview to determine whether the Constitution and Code apply to somebody, then it's certainly not within your purview to say that they are a taxpayer with taxable income under the same Constitution and Code. See, that's the way logic works. If you have to first be able to validly or properly determine the Constitution and Code apply to somebody, then you're in a position to say that they're a taxpayer with taxable income, not the other way around, which is, of course, what they try to do. This is what you get when you're dealing with terrorist bureaucrats, the terrorcrat. They will lie without a hint of shame, nothing, and say, I'm not going to debate or argue with you. And you've heard plenty of these calls from me where they've done that. No one is arguing and debating with them. They know the difference between arguing / debating and just asking a question. Asking a question is not debating, which is why I use the analogy, if you're and change the context slightly, and that I'm the one being questioned. The prosecutor, let's say the august U.S. attorney, someone like Tom Bradley, is questioning me in court, and he says, Mark, did you earn income in 2012? I'm not going to debate with you, Tom. It's obvious that an answer like that is not only not an answer, it's clearly in bad faith, because I know full well he's not arguing and debating with me. He's asking me a question. So if it's weasel when I do it, it's certainly weasel when they do it. They are lying, and they don't care. Why don't they care? They don't have to. They're forcing us to pay. They're psychopaths. And my name is Mark Stevens. This has just been two of the filthy tactics that bureaucrats will use to divert your attention and everyone else's attention away from their lack of evidence. Don't let them get away with it. You got projection, and then you got the cart before the horse where they just flat out lie. Call them on it. Say, no, sir, unless you are illiterate and don't know what the word debate means, you're lying. Now let's just stick to the evidence. You either have the evidence or you don't. And you'll do a lot better, and you'll be more effective in the damage control and limiting the damage that these psychopaths want to do to you. My name is Marc Stevens. The website is marcstevens.net. If you disagree with what I presented here, please feel free to call us during a live broadcast, or contact me at FrankRizzo3 on Skype, or at markstevens@mail.com, and we'll get you set up as guest on the No Stay Project. Again, it's markstevens.net.
How can I help you today, and do you want to give me permission to speak to this other Mark regarding your account? Understand that he can do no negotiation or set no deadlines, but I'm happy to speak with him if that's okay with you.
Yes, that is okay with me. Thank you kindly.
All right, Mark, if you want to go ahead, how can I help you today?
Well, we have a couple of issues we'd like to get resolved, but if you're in there and you can see for 2009, we'd like to be able to get a stay so that there's no escalation on that particular year until there's a resolution. Is that something you were able to do?
Well, what do you mean? I can possibly put a hold on the account so no collection activity takes place, depending on what else is going on with the account. Yeah, I mean, I certainly have that ability. Yes,
okay,
sir.
Great.
But I can't do it based on your request. I have to get that from the taxpayer.
Yes, see, you did it again. I guess it's kind of a reflexive thing. You already know his name. You have that information, and so again, please refrain from referring to Mark as a taxpayer until such time as there evidence.
Well, I'm showing that there's a tax balance on the account. Okay, so at this point, I'm just doing my job, sir, and I apologize. I'm not trying to offend anybody. Okay, but I've taken over 60,000 phone calls, and sorry, you're right, it is a reflexive action, okay? So I'm not sure why you are getting so upset about that. I do apologize. I'm certainly not trying to offend anybody. I do see a tax balance for 2009. That makes him a taxpayer to me.
Yes, I'm not getting upset. I'm just pointing out. I'm not upset. So you don't need to characterize that. Maybe you deal with people that do get upset, which is understandable because of the way your agency operates. But I'm not upset at all. So let me ask you, since you can do something like that, if there were, is there anything before you that would lead you to believe? Well, let me just start again. Can you confirm, just yes or no, that there is evidence proving that the Constitution and Code apply to Mark and that the IRS has any jurisdiction over him?
Okay, that is not my purview to be able to do. So I guess I'm not sure why you're asking me that, sir. I didn't write the Constitution. I don't apply the laws. I'm just an enforcement agency.
Well, when you refer to him as a taxpayer, and you're saying that there is a balance due, you are applying the Constitution and Code to him. So
absolutely, like I do to every other United States citizen.
Okay,
that is correct.
Okay, well, my question though for you, again, can you confirm yes or no that there's any facts, any evidence to prove that the Constitution and Code apply to Mark and that the IRS has any jurisdiction over him at all?
Okay, no, and not my purview to do.
Okay,
what
no, wait.
He does have taxable income, sir.
Wait.
Okay,
let me write it down.
Have a tax balance.
No, not my let's just take this one step at a time. You can't prove that the Constitution and Code apply to him. So how can you prove that there's any? And you can't prove that there's any jurisdiction over him.
At this point, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the phone call because I'm not here to debate this with you. Have a nice day.
No, don't hang up. Don't hang up. No one's debating with you. Did he hang up?